The cool kids sit at the back of the bus.
So, I was going to start it off with just a little story, random story, just to see what you thought about it.
Oh, boy.
So, I was getting Uber Eats. This must have been Thursday, Friday, one of those days. Mm-hmm. And the guy calls me because if you go into my apartment, you got to like call me before you deliver it.
Right.
And the guy called and he had a 380 area code. But it
Where the
said
fuck is that?
Columbus. I was confused. So I'm like, okay, let me just search that area code because I don't know any other area code for Columbus.
Yeah, be down there with your food and you searching the area code.
As I was walking to the door, I was doing that. And so turns out that there are, so many people in Columbus now.
We got another area code?
Growing, we have another area code.
Because I knew we had, obviously, 614. And then, 937 is ours?
937 is like Dayton area.
And then 740.
That's like the middle of nowhere around like Columbus and outside of like Dayton and all that. Yeah. It basically covers everything that's not.
And then like Pataskala and Delaware and all that shit.
Yeah. It's like basically everything that's not Columbus, Cincinnati, Dayton, Cleveland, Toledo, Akron.
A major city.
Yeah. But we have a second area code all to ourselves.
Like a municipal area code.
380.
Hey.
The 380.
Who the hell is from
the 380, dog?
Who the hell is from the 380?
That's kind of hard. The 380.
Is it designated by like geographically? Like,
I didn't look that far into it. I want to say that it's just a lot of some of the newer ones are 380.
See, man, that's why I feel like Columbus, we're on the verge of like a renaissance where the city is going to grow and it's going to burst open. We got to get all these older conservatives out of here.
The city is definitely going to grow and grow quite a bit.
And as the minority populations in our city, we have a very large East African population. We have a very large Somalian population.
Very large Nepali.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's a melting pot in Columbus, and it is
very much
getting a lot more mixed. So as that continues to happen, I think you'll see a lot of pushback in the terms of legislation. They just brought the damn stand your ground out here last year. Mm-hmm. So you'll see things like that pop up. But I think as Columbus starts to go more liberal, more progressive, Ohio goes.
That could be a possibility.
Yeah,
a lot of those middle nowheres like cities become obviously a little bit more liberal.
Like, because Columbus holds a lot, man. Columbus has a lot of major companies have their main headquarters here in the capital. Mm-hmm. Got a lot of sway.
We'll see. I don't know. I got a theory of how it's going to grow out, but I don't want to give too much away on the podcast. So with that being said, it's recess. Back of the bus squad, still at it. We're going to talk a little bit about UFC. We're going to talk a little bit about Lizzo. But first, let's get into these main topics.
Okay, what we got?
First thing we got on the list, we got to talk about it. Eminem versus Nick Cannon.
Jesus.
The biggest beef of 2019.
Whoa.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Okay, maybe not. But it's kind of major right now. It's getting kind of hot.
Is it kind of major? They done brought
It's
Obi
super
Trice out.
Obi Trice is a name I haven't heard in a while.
Dog. How did all of this start? So, is the beef with Nick and Eminem rooted in Mariah?
Yes.
Or, okay.
From what I heard, it's still a continuation of, because M released some diss tracks years ago.
No, I remember them. We were children. Yeah. That was a long ass time ago.
And
I don't think he's thinking about Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey came out with Obsessed.
Again, that was that was one of the last songs that we heard Mariah Carey singing halfway decent on a song.
True. That was her last big hit.
Why you so obsessed
Besides
with
All I Want for
me?
Christmas, though.
That didn't come out after Obsessed.
No, but that's her biggest hit.
It still comes
crazy.
on. Yeah?
No, I guess maybe Eminem did an interview, possibly. Or one of them did an interview somewhere. Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? I think Nick Cannon talked to T.I. in some kind of interview. brought it up, and then Eminem said something, and now it just got sparked all up
man.
again. You want to give Nick Cannon a dub and an L.
Absolutely.
I wanted Nick Cannon, I went into it I kind of want Nick Cannon to win, because here's the thing.
Nigga,
I know he's not going to win. It's Eminem. But Nick Cannon, for most of his career, has been known as this corny dude.
He give corny rappers a bad name. With that shit, them bars, he was disrespecting Will Smith.
But that's what I'm saying. I didn't hear it yet, so I'm like, okay, I kind of.
You haven't heard the songs yet?
No, I didn't hear it at this point.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
I heard both of them now at this point.
Okay.
But I wanted, going into it, I was like, oh, all right, I kind of want Nick to kind of get at him a little bit. Then I heard him start rapping with this weird, deep voice. Like, dog, where did this come from? Why you rapping like this? Come on, bruh. Come on, if you gonna actually go at this man, can you at least try not to sound corny?
No, he was. That's what the deep voice was. He was trying. He was trying.
It wasn't what I wanted.
You got to see the play. Nick Cannon knows he can't rap. He knows it. Or at least he knows he can't rap on the level of elite rappers.
Sure.
Right? So, number one, that's why he had all the whole damn Wild and Outkast up there rapping for him.
That's another reason why I wanted him to win. Because I was like, okay, this gets, Charlie Clips, Hitman Holla, and the battle rappers some play in the mainstream a little bit.
I didn't take it that way, and I'm going to tell you why. Because what it was to me was, all right, I'm going to get my homeboys up here to suck me for 5 minutes. Yeah. And then I'm going to
it came off that way when I actually listened to it.
And then I'm going to try to throw the kill blow at the end.
I agree with that.
And if you the Wild and Outkast, because it wasn't just Nick that was catching this L. Hitman, Charlie Clips, Conceited, y'all carry this motherfucker too. Whoever dog was with the dreads.
Actually get on one of the tracks?
Yeah, he got on both. He got on the first one.
He was on one of them.
He was on the first one. Yeah, he was on the first one. Yeah, no, y'all got to carry this L too. All of y'all, pallbearers, all of y'all carry this bitch through. Because number one, how do you start a beef with a dude? How do you start a beef with a nigga with other people rapping?
True.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my goons on you. Nah, that ain't how this shit work. And then on top of that, if you the Wild and Out crew, how at some point during recording this video for the rap beef, did y'all not sit up here and think damn man, this nigga really made me get up on here and suck him for 5 minutes? Had me give him a whole 16 for somebody else that I don't have no smoke with at all.
Right. And it's probably a bad idea to have smoke
because he said something about your wife before you was with her and before I even met you. Okay. I mean, whatever. That's your man. See them put you on. He point, you shoot. I got it. But at the same time, I thought y'all don't rap for free. What happened to all of that? That's why I hear all y'all niggas talking about it in the battle raps. And nigga, I don't rap for free. You got to show up with 30 raps.
I need 40,000 before I even
40,000. Y'all gave him a free blowy all over World Star. All over World Star. Just to throw shade at Eminem.
Right.
But you got to see through the bullshit. Here's what I think is going on. So Nick Cannon.
Okay, so you have a hot take as to what you think is going on.
Yeah. This is what I think is going on.
I do too.
So Nick is a great businessman.
I think we see the same
in everything.
I think we might see the same.
And I don't see him going off half cocked, just shooting shots at Eminem with no idea of where it's going to go next. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, I think this ends up with Eminem making an appearance on Wild 'N Out for either the premiere or the season finale for the 15th season of Wild 'N Out.
Okay, I see that. I definitely see that.
Where he tries to shred the entire cast.
I see that as a possibility.
Yeah, that is exactly where I see it.
I thought about that for a second.
Because first of all, both these niggas too old to be arguing like this.
Right.
They both get too much money to be worried about any of this, really. Mm-hmm. I think it's something else going on.
I had a even hotter take. Maybe a little out there, but just work with me.
Uh-huh.
So I think that they're going to have some sort of Wild 'N Out battle event where Nick Cannon and Eminem battle, and then they have an undercard.
Okay, I can see that too.
Clips.
I can see that too.
Conceited versus other people.
I can see that. Yeah,
I would not be surprised if that happened.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Either way, this was a money grab.
Oh, for sure.
This was a money grab.
For sure.
Come on, man. Look, Nick Cannon thought he could
This was get views on YouTube, whatever interviews I do, make headlines, and then do something for Wildin' Out.
So an L for being so damn trash. An L for being trash. Because them bars, man, I remember I was playing the second one, the one where they was in the studio, right? And I'm listening to it. I'm sitting in the kitchen with Tia, and I like zoned him out for like a whole 45, maybe a minute, 60 seconds. And I start talking to her, and then I just so happened to turn back around and see that the video was still fucking. I'm like, bro, you still going?
That actually kind of happened to me too. I was playing the game while I was listening to it, and then realized I didn't even listen to it for a little while. Like, oh shit,
I'm like, shit, man, he's still rapping, huh? Okay. But no, L for the bullshit, but definitely I see the moves in the background. If it ends up playing like that, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
If either of those things happen, because you want to tune into something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
so
sure.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of rap news, Tekashi 6ix9ine,
stupid,
a name we haven't said in a while, is due for sentencing on Wednesday.
You need to get us a rodent drop.
Big rats out here. So yeah, he's due for sentencing on Wednesday, which might be the day this actually releases. So he's due for sentencing today. Yeah, what do we feel about that?
I don't know. I heard a lot of people talking about that weak ass letter that he wrote to the judge. "Dear Judge, I've changed my life and I've seen the error of my ways. Never again will I delve myself in gang culture."
Where'd he get this English accent from?
He turned into Daniel.
Did he write it with one of those little
with the little quails? That's what you call it. It's called a quail. Yeah, your boy
dipped it into some ink. Wrote it on parchment paper.
He turned back into Daniel. He left Tekashi at home for a minute, which is what he probably should have done in the first place.
Don't forget he's Daniel Hernandez.
Yeah, okay. I don't know, man. I hear, like, I know if I was ever to get pinched up in some shit, well, you know what? It depends. It depends, right? So if you are what you call a civilian and you're not involved with that shit, I feel like you have rights to go ahead and do what you need to do.
Absolutely. To avoid jail time.
You know what I mean? I got a son. I got a life to live. And I'm not out here trying to hit licks on niggas or doing anything like that. Like, I'm not involved. Sure. I'm not affiliated.
But if you're taking advantage of
nigga, if
the
you up here,
lifestyle.
Trey Wade, y'all skit, I'm in your city, what's up, cheeky, put 10,000 on your head.
Right.
Yeah, no, you gotta
I'm
eat
in your
that.
hood.
Yeah, you gotta eat that.
Oh, for sure.
I'm tired of that, man.
For sure.
He been false flagging for a minute for a grip.
Right.
So
everything is blood after every sentence. Like,
and the craziest thing is, he gonna have his little career, and I want to watch all these idiots flock to him. Like when he start rapping again, I want to watch all these fucking morons flock to him like he the hardest shit out again. Because he gonna come. He can only be successful saying the same shit. He wasn't a good rapper. The music didn't even sound good. He was just so outrageous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just such an outgoing character that you can't look away.
Very true.
That's what it is. That's what Blueface is. That's what he is. He's such an out of the box, crazy, overwhelming just personality that you can't look away from it.
Absolutely.
And so without him doing all that bullshit, he's not going to be relevant. He's not going to make any money.
Sure.
If Tekashi was never seen on the street in America, but made all the same music that he made today, nobody would know about him.
Even though he's going to come back out and make some Hispanic music and try to capitalize off that wave.
Okay. Well,
I see that coming at some point.
Bro.
At some
point. Well,
he's got to make one regular album and one Spanish album
under
his according to
contract.
Yeah, he's going to try to do something like that. We'll see.
Okay. Hey, watch your ass.
Well, here's the thing.
Because before, you was some protected celebrity that nobody was going to come in within 10 feet of you anyways. Because you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Drumming up way too much bad attention.
Because you protected. But now, even the nigga that was letting you false flag ain't fucking with you no more. You sent them upstate.
Right. True.
You know what I'm saying? You sent them on a vacation. So it's like, all right, come on with that now.
Yeah, you big trouble right now.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see as much public displays from him.
a lot of people wanted to work with him before all of this happened. A lot of people are going to try to distance themselves away from him now that this happened.
For a while, for sure.
Celebrity-wise.
If he can prove that he has swayed public opinion on him, because he's got with a doc coming out. He's got all kind of media rollout set up. So, like, if he's able to get through that unscathed, of course people will start working with him again.
I can see that.
I don't think
But right away, people are going to try to distance themselves away from that whole situation.
It's going to be like Justin Bieber or Miley Cyrus and all of those who, oh man, messing with black culture was so bad for me. I just had to get out and change my life and give it to Christ, man. That's Justin Bieber's new voice for me. I had to get away from the rappers and Floyd and change my life, man. And go talk to God, man.
I don't think his voice is that deep.
Go talk to God, man.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, he's due for sentencing. And from what I hear, one of his gun charges was dropped. So that's about 10 years off.
You go up there and you sing the way he sung. You're not expecting to sit in jail no longer.
You think he's going scot-free? You think he's getting time served and that's it?
For sure.
Okay.
All them names that they got him to throw in there unnecessarily. Like, why did I need to know that Cardi B was affiliated with the 9 Treys?
Jim Jones
Did they do something?
Right.
You know what I mean? Were they involved in some kind of criminal enterprise? Or is he just affiliated with a gang from his hometown? Right. That means nothing to me. Or to anyone, really. So, really, you was just out here snitching for nothing. Well,
Jim Jones is a blood. Cardi B is a blood. My cousin yesterday, he gave blood to the American Red Cross. I don't know, man. I definitely see him getting time served and then walking too.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you sing like that.
I just want to see. I want to see what's going to happen afterwards. It's just going to be interesting. Like, I'm not going to listen to his music all like that, but it'll be interesting to watch. I don't feel
like people, like, to me, I didn't follow him before, so like I'm definitely not about to follow him now. And if all of this shit that niggas claim means something to them actually means something, then he won't have any legitimacy. I want to see who the first person is who doesn't care about being seen with them publicly is. Yeah. Because everything we're hearing now is like, no, I can't associate with that. I'm not messing with that. Anybody get asked about it. Fat Joe, 50 Cent, any of them.
Fat Joe told him what the deal was going to be. He told him everything that was going to happen, and he like, look, he's like 100%.
I'm not touching him. I'm leaving him alone. Yeah. Right. So I want to see who the first one is who's going to bite the bullet and be like, all right, well, you know, he changed his life and he not like that no more and blah, 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 blah. It ain't going to be about 8-9 months.
You think the Breakfast Club is going to give him an interview when he come back?
Yeah, hell yeah, they going to give him an interview. He going everywhere, bro. He's going to Angela Martinez. He going to Power 105. He going to Sway in the Morning. He going to talk to Big Boy. He going everywhere. And they all going to take him. They all going to take him.
I can see that.
Not a single one of them is going to turn him down.
I can see No Jumper getting him first.
That nigga might end up on The View.
Oh.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm telling you. He could. I could definitely see that. Last week we discussed Kamala dropping out. And you had some things that you kind of wanted to rehash, some things you wanted to go over about that.
I did. If you've been listening to us for a little bit, you know I don't really pull punches when it comes to politics for anybody. We've talked about everybody from Trump to Obama, from Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Mayor Pete. Yeah, we get on everybody.
Yep.
I do feel like, though, after getting some response from our last take on Kamala dropping out, that I didn't really communicate it clearly as far as not only why I felt like it wasn't a very effective campaign for her, and also that I didn't really take full heed to the argument that it was just full of racism and sexism. Now,
you discussed those things, but you didn't really delve into it at all.
Exactly. And so, to be clear, we all know what country we live in, right? So, like, I don't want to come off too dismissive when I say that I didn't believe that, because there obviously was a degree of sexism and obviously racism. Like, the fact that we are watching a reality TV show star run our country as a rebuttal to 8 years of a black man being in office shows you that there is still deeply rooted racism in our country today.
Sure.
Right? So I get that. And I acknowledge that. One of the things we didn't bring up before was the fact that, while, yeah, Kamala does have a lot of questionable things on her record. We talked about it at length before. We talked about the fighting of the early release of nonviolent offenders in California. We've talked about the locking up of parents for truant kids. We talked about her views on legalizing marijuana until all of a sudden she's in the Senate. She's on the Breakfast Club talking different. We went through all of that. We don't necessarily acknowledge that Kamala isn't the only prosecutor on that stage. Right? True. Amy Klobuchar is also a prosecutor. And that nor the candidates or the moderators in any of the debates really take her to task for that the way that Kamala was taken to task for that. And I can acknowledge that. And I can, because it's clear, it's present, it happened. And I don't feel like it was necessarily fair. You have valid points when you talk about Kamala Harris and the things that she did when she held her office in California. But at the same time, if you're not going to be fair and balanced with the rest of the candidates on the stage like that, like you've been trying to force Amy Klobuchar down my throat for the last 3 or 4 debates.
Yeah, big time.
So to see that juxtapose how they're viewing Kamala Harris, it's like, okay, well, now you want to be principled. Now you want to hold people to task. But all of that goes out of the window when you're pushing the candidate that you favor. So I do recognize that, and I do acknowledge that fact. At the same time, when you talk about media portrayal of black women in politics, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Because remember, y'all, like Kamala Harris, despite the lacking in her executive office holding or running in presidential candidacy, she was amongst the tops. When this whole primary started. Kamala was one of the leading candidates.
She was like number 4, basically.
She said it herself after a debate on CNN. Like, she tooted her own horn and called herself a top tier candidate. Now her polls have been steadily declining since she said that.
True.
But she was at the top. And that wasn't because of any progressive viewpoint. It wasn't because of any new and innovative ideology or policy. It was because she was a black woman in the Senate running for president, which is easy to sell on television, which is, it looks pretty. It's a token for lack of a better term. It kind of is what it is. And so obviously when it's time to start narrowing down the field, of course the black woman is going to be the first one to go.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You know what this is. The black woman and the black man, because Cory Booker can kind of be involved in this conversation too.
Yeah. Cory Booker was basically on the Breakfast Club begging for people to help him get on the debate stage.
You know what I mean? So I get where the kind of frustration will come from a lot of black voters who did support Kamala and Cory, because they're looking at it like, well, damn, that was quick.
Our
like,
candidates
look,
are already
yeah,
out of
you
here.
know what I mean? Like, look how fast they pushed our candidates out.
I think the only candidate of color who is actually going to be on the debate stage right now is Yang.
Did Castro not make it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Or maybe if it was, I can't remember if it was he's the first one or the only one. But I'm pretty sure he's the only one.
It's seeming like he's probably going to be the only one, because I don't know if Tulsi made it either.
I would doubt it.
So it's kind of hard looking at it from that perspective if you're a supporter of Booker and Harris. And I can understand that, and I can agree with it to a certain extent. But if you're looking at it from my perspective, somebody who I didn't support Amy Klobuchar, right? I didn't need to know about her prosecutorial record because there was too much other things. Yeah, it was already too many things for me to see on its face without me digging into her. But if you're looking at it the way I'm looking at it, I didn't necessarily get on board with Kamala Harris, because when you juxtapose what she says she wants to do as president versus what she's done when she's held some type of executive position, it didn't add up. And so I guess you could say I was skeptical. The reason why I wanted to rehash all of this, though, is because I brought up a point when we were talking about Cap, right? And Stephen A. and how he portrayed him on ESPN, and how only we have a responsibility to put our viewpoint out there, to say things from a black perspective, because no one else is and no one else can. So in that respect, I felt like it was a little unfair for us to applaud her losing, because at the end of the day, one less black candidate in the presidential election hurts all of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And now that I think about it, I just looked at the list of some of the people who have actually qualified for the December debates. And one name sticks out to me quite a bit, and that's Tom Steyer. And the reason that is because Tom Steyer is a billionaire. And I've seen his ads on TV, maybe once or twice. But I've still seen his ads, as opposed to if Kamala had any ads, I'm sure not seeing that on TV. Chances are.
No. So Steyer did something kind of interesting. So I knew Tom Steyer from being the impeachment guy who was popping up on my damn videos. Right, my YouTube shit. A lot of people have criticized him for that, because they're saying that is how he built the kind of quote unquote grassroots support that he's claiming to have now behind his campaign,
his resources,
because he galvanized people behind the idea of impeachment, which, I mean, it wasn't wrong.
True.
It wasn't wrong, but then he carteled that into presidential donations and backing for his campaign. So
I say all that just to say, he's utilizing his resources that a Cory Booker or Kamala Harris probably. And not even probably.
No, they couldn't have done anything like that. Yeah, they couldn't have done anything like that. They don't have
billions of dollars at their side.
Right.
Same thing for Yang. I don't think Yang is a billionaire, but he's a self-made businessman, and so he probably has some resources that they don't have as well. Yeah, especially since they don't have the same support either. Obviously,
yeah. It's honestly, it's just a more liberal version of what Bloomberg is doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Bloomberg is another.
He's going to flood the boomers with all his TV commercials during daytime television, shit like Wheel of Fortune and shit like that, because he has the money to do so. He doesn't even care at this point about being on the debate stage, because he can buy himself into a position where he's going to be competitive.
And so, taking a step back from it, it is kind of unfair that we kind of did jump the gun.
Yeah, we kind of dogged her, but I just don't want people to forget, though, all right, maybe I didn't have to dismiss her so quickly, but there are real legit reasons why Kamala Harris didn't end up going further in this presidential race that didn't have anything to do with racism, right? Sure. Kamala Harris has a white husband. Not saying that is an issue for me, but let's keep it real. It's an issue for a lot of people. Yeah. And so if you have something like that, and this lines exactly with her record as a prosecutor, you have something that people are going to hammer you on, lean into it. Lean into it. If there is one compliment that I could ever give Pete Buttigieg, is that he is, for the most part, with the exception of the whole fiasco with the black police chief in South Bend, he is for the most part leaned into his criticisms. People question him on his work that he did out of college with the advising firm McKinsey. He ended up letting out his list of clients that he worked while he was on there. People criticized him, or Michael Harriot criticized him in particular with that scathing article. And then he goes on and does a 20-minute interview with the guy. So he leans into it. Right. It may get him up in the polls. It may not. It may not help him at all. But at least he's facing the criticism head on. Kamala Harris always ran from her shit. Yeah. She died. Right. She didn't lean into the fact that she was a prosecutor. If you stood by your decisions that you made as a prosecutor, and you felt like you had an arguable position to do the things that you did, to keep people in jail, to keep weed illegal, to put parents of truant kids in jail, if you had a valid reason for doing all of that shit and you have an arguable point, then make it. But don't run from it. Don't tell people that they're lying when they're saying it about you. Don't just not bring it up at all. Use really the only thing that you have to go off of, your career as a prosecutor, in your favor. When you run from it, that's acknowledging the fact that
you
feel it's wrong. So, while, again, we didn't have to dismiss her so easily.
True.
But at the same time, I feel like there was a lot that was problematic. I was listening to, remember I told you I started listening to the Karen Hunter show?
Yeah.
She listened to her, bro. I don't always agree with her, but she made the point about the white husband, and I kind of felt that too. It was like, okay, you ain't got to hide him from us, because then now that's making it extra sketchy. That's like somebody come to Thanksgiving dinner without the white boyfriend you done seen him all over Instagram with. Oh, now what's wrong with him for real? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to hide him? But okay, I'm gonna get off of that. Do we have any more main topics?
Well, you wanted to talk about Deval Patrick as well?
Yeah. So in the interest of staying neutral and hearing everybody out, I'm definitely going to listen to the next black candidate to enter the race. It's former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick. And he had a pretty interesting interview this morning on the Breakfast Club. It started out pretty run-of-the-mill, pretty basic. Why did you run? Why do you feel like you're the best candidate? That kind of stuff, right? And he was giving his standard political answers. Sounded like he's not a very enthusiastic guy, but he seemed to have his faculties about him a lot more than a Joe Biden,
sure.
You know what I mean, or anything like that. So it wasn't hard to listen to. I don't get the feeling from him and his experiences that he's going to be a guy that's a huge proponent of universal health care or free college or anything like that. But he did say some good things about, empowerment and black entrepreneurship, getting...
which is something you're not hearing from a lot of any other
Exactly.
candidates.
Right. Trying to build generational wealth within the black community. Those are things that I can level with. Yeah, I like to hear that. But then Charlamagne asked him a pretty rough question, which I was surprised to hear. So he asked him, why didn't you just get behind? Because he opened up with saying that a lot of the people in the race were his friends, mainly Booker and Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. So he asked him, well, why didn't you just get behind them, the two black candidates that were already running? Why did you feel like you needed to run? Mm-hmm. And so I think that question threw him a little bit.
Sure.
That question tossed him a little bit because he got a little chippy.
I'm not surprised that Charlamagne asked that question.
Yeah, I am. I mean,
I guess I'm surprised that Charlamagne went there, but like when it comes to how hard he was going for Kamala, I guess I'm not super surprised.
Yeah, okay. When you put it like that, I guess I can see it. He got a little chippy. He started giving a standard non-answer answer and kind of dancing around it. Charlamagne stopped him and was like, but you still haven't answered the question. Why haven't you got behind the black candidates that were already running?
Now that's kind of crazy that he actually...
No, he doubled back to it. He made him stick to it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Deval Patrick said, well, no, I did answer. You just ain't listening. You just being a voter, not listening.
We have
still didn't answer why you didn't support them, though.
Well, I'm coming. I'm
okay.
I did answer.
Because you're doing the politician thing.
No, I'm not. I answered it.
Yeah.
You're doing the voter thing and not listening to my answer. Okay. All of my answers.
I'm trying to get it.
I'm like, all right, here we go. All right, Joe Biden. Because that's the same type of attitude, right? I talk, you listen. I know what's best. You shut up and let me say it. Yeah. Right? You can put all the pretty bows and shit all around it all you want and be a great politician. But at the end of the day, are you going to be beholden to the people who vote to you? Or are you going to try to dictate what they need to them?
Right.
Right? And so that was a red flag. Now I'm not gonna count him out. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna hear him. I'm gonna wait till he rolls out his proposals. I'm going to see what he offers. To me, anything less than universal health care is a non-starter. I want to hear someone talk about foreign policy that is anti-imperialist, that's anti starting regime change wars. Right? If we're going to be in somebody's backyard, it should be for a legitimate reason. I mean, the report just came out that they were
especially after we just
lying about the Afghanistan war for all these years. And that's Bush, Obama, all the way through. So I would definitely like to hear something like that. So I'll hear him out. But I'm not going to shield him or not criticize him where criticism is warranted.
Just because he's a black candidate.
Just because. Yeah, that's it. That's all I had on Deval. I just kind of want to talk about the Breakfast Club interview. Got a little heated.
I didn't need to see that, but W's and L's. Let's get it.
You want to do yours? Or you want me to do mine?
You can go.
I gave Joel Embiid a dub for last week.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him a dub because Joel Embiid came under some heat last week. I think they lost the game to...
I don't even remember who it was.
I don't know who it was, but Shaq and Charles Barkley was on NBA TV dogging him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, you got to be better than that, big fella. Like,
right.
You can't come up short like that.
He was definitely underachieving.
Right. And so where most players of his age, players of this generation would take that as a slight. If you're Damian Lillard, you're going to write a rap beef. You know what I mean? You're going to write a diss track or two. Joel Embiid took another ride. Right? He acknowledged it. He accepted it.
Nuggets.
The Nuggets. Yeah. They got plastered, though. What was the score?
I don't have that, though.
Okay. Yeah. They got beat pretty good.
Yeah.
But he took the route of taking it, internalizing it, and then he came out the next night and destroyed the next team they played.
38 points.
Destroyed them. Man amongst boys.
Over 10 rebounds.
Was it the Pelicans?
Dog, you asked me.
I was about to say, why don't we know who the fuck he played?
No, it's the Celtics.
The Celtics, yes.
The Celtics, yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep, I remember
13
that.
rebounds, 6 assists, 38 points.
Dogged them.
85% from the foul line.
And it's just not something that you see from players nowadays. So I like that. I gave him a dub for that.
Mm-hmm.
Big dub going out to Kamaru Usman for knocking Colby Covington the hell out.
Say that name again.
Kamaru Usman. Dog, if I'm saying your name wrong, I apologize. But definitely a big dub for you. So a little background, if you're not a UFC fan, Colby Covington is somewhat of a WWE character in UFC fashion.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So I think his contract was up with UFC not too long ago. And so to try and pretty much save his job, he took on this persona of some alt-right, Trump-loving person.
Yeah.
MAGA hat.
Patriotic.
Yeah. So says a lot of foul shit about immigrants. I think he tweeted to some Brazilians that they were filthy animals or some shit like that. Ugh. So he clearly is playing a role.
Sure.
Right? Again, essentially trying to turn UFC, a serious sport, into WWE where you just talk shit and fake fight.
Basically.
Right? So Usman, who is from Brazil, I think it was a TKO in the third round.
Sounds about right.
Broke dude's jaw, had him running out the stadium.
Yeah.
Dog.
He is Nigerian.
Excuse me. Why did I say Brazilian? Because I don't know who Kamaru Usman is until I heard this story. Kamaru Usman broke Covington's jaw. So I guess watch what you say, dog.
Yes.
Watch who you talking to.
Yeah.
Like this not fake. This not for play. This
is definitely a win against MAGA country.
Oh, for sure.
Again.
For sure.
Against.
Hey, I could just see Trump all over Twitter shouting dude out if he won. I want somebody to ask him, like, hey, one of your biggest fans got his jaw broke this last weekend. What do you think about that?
You gonna pay for that jaw?
Yeah, shout out to Usman. I had another L to give out. And this one's going out to one Oprah Winfrey. So Oprah has a new doc coming out.
Okay.
And it seems to be a bit of a trend here. And I'm not liking it. Like, at all. It's a MeToo documentary about Russell Simmons.
Ooh.
About Russell Simmons, yeah. And so it's going to be another, you think she would have learned a lesson after Neverland, but it's going to be another doc that's totally from the side of the alleged victims. Only, I think there were multiple women who accused Russell Simmons of sexual assault, but they're only doing the film with a handful of them. I think it's like 2 or 3.
Okay.
To me, I feel like, all right, so you want to give everybody their day. You want to have everybody be able to tell their story in a safe place, right? So to me, that calls for an interview that calls for a sit down. Maybe have somebody write an op-ed about it.
Yeah.
What it doesn't call for is for you to make a film, a documentary, slanted in the way of the accuser and giving no credence to the defense of the accused.
For sure.
And I understand people feel like we're in this stage. What up, MJ? We're in this stage where people feel like the tables or the scales have been so slanted towards the accused that this is a course correction, right? So now we're in the extreme to the other way. But the danger in that is creating the same problematic behavior that you felt like was problematic when it was going back, you know, towards the people who were actually committing the crime.
I was going to say that isn't surviving R. Kelly exactly what you're saying, but then I realized they actually had people who were with R. Kelly speaking against it as well.
Yep.
So it's kind of different. You know, if you just have the accusers speaking their piece, it's just going to be basically throwing nothing but mud against him.
Well, yeah, and it's like, I feel like you can't present that in a documentary form because when you're doing that, you are saying that you are reporting the truth.
And there's always two sides.
If we go back through that Neverland shit, there was so much wrong with the stuff that they were saying. So, like, you can't possibly know for a fact. Exactly. Right? None of this has been proven in a court of law. I don't even think she has the right to do that. He might have a defamation case, honestly.
Even if, you know, the things that Russell Simmons did were wrong, it's almost as if you got all these people lined up. They're telling a story about the bad things that he did. It almost feels like there's a way for some of those people to misremember certain things, like you're saying, to try to maybe seem like the one person whose story is the worst so that maybe they can sell their stories on the side. And it just seems like a bad precedent to set.
And you know what? I think he mentioned something like that in his, I think he got her on either Instagram or Twitter. He was basically saying, like, I've admitted to you and everyone that I know that I was one of the biggest womanizers back in the day, more than any man. And so I guess I can kind of speak to that. When you put yourself in those kind of positions, you do leave yourself open for people to say whatever about you. When you just kind of move and stick so freely. You know what I mean? It just kind of leaves a gate open for people to say, yeah, he was drunk and he did this to me and I said no. And you know what I mean? It does. Right. It leaves a door open for someone to interpret something differently the way that you did.
Sure.
And that always, as bad as that sounds, it doesn't always result in it being a sexual assault. And as much as you like to believe victims in 2019, because they haven't been believed so much throughout history, everybody claiming rape ain't telling the truth.
We've seen that time.
And so the only thing we ask as men who are trying to be allies is that we have our version of the story heard as well. If it's bullshit, it's bullshit. If it doesn't line up, it doesn't line up. But at least let me be heard. Don't have me judged in a court of public opinion before I ever have my day in court.
True.
You know, that's fucked up to me. And to go even further at Oprah, it's crazy that you keep finding it so amoral to be letting Michael Jackson out here be dead in peace. He ain't doing anything. Right? And then let Russell Simmons be out here doing whatever, living his life. But yet, I think we said this on the pod, right before you hopped on that Finding Neverland shit, you was out having dinner with Harvey Weinstein. I don't get. Where's the Harvey Weinstein doc? Right. Where's the documentary into Elvis marrying a 14-year-old girl? Yeah. Why is it so important to undress black men in public for accusations that may or may not be true? To people who may or may not be just trying to get a check. Yeah. Wade Robinson was clearly trying to get a check. And I'm so confused as to why we haven't heard anything from Oprah about Wade Robinson or the other guy. And the many inconsistencies that came up in that doc. They spoke about some dinner where Michael brought over Wade Robinson and his family and convinced him not to testify against him. And that dinner had happened after the trial had already ended or some shit like that. It's like, So you just never gonna talk about this shit again. You was doing whole recap interviews on your show, on your network, and all that other shit. You just gonna wash your hands of this and then double back 8 months later and do a whole nother doc.
That's nuts.
Like, I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that at all.
As you shouldn't.
Last L I got, man, is going out to the newspaper of records, or the paper of records, whatever the fuck they call themselves, the New York Times. All right, so I am a big fan of really all progressive media. I'm a fan of TYT, Majority Report,
Karen Hunter.
I'm a fan of Rational National. I'm a fan of the Humanist Report. I'm a fan of a lot of people. One of the main YouTubers or digital media guys that I first came in contact with was Cenk Uygur and TYT. All right. If you don't know who Cenk Uygur is, he is the founder of Justice Democrats, or the co-founder of Justice Democrats, him and Kyle Kalinske. That is a group that started backing candidates through grassroots means that led to people like Alexandria Cortez. They found her and kind of started her on her way. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, excuse me. He's also a co-founder of the Wolf Pack. They are a lobbyist group against money in politics. So I don't even know if that's correct to call them a lobbyist group. They're an interest group against money in politics, right? And they've gotten amendments passed in a few different states to try and get that ball rolling. So he's done a lot of good things, right? One of the things that stuck out to me about him, though, as I did a little bit of research on him, is that he used to be a hardcore Republican. And I mean like one of those nut Republicans, Tucker Carlson, Janine Shapiro, what's the shut up and dribble chick? Ingram. Laura Ingram. That's her. Yep. He was one of them. Said a whole bunch of outrageous shit. Said a lot of things that were problematic.
He did a video about that, like where he kind of dispels some of those things that he used to say.
He's done it several times over the last decade. Right,
he did one recently.
Yep, he openly. It's probably because of the the Congress run. Yep, but over the years he said a lot of crazy shit. He said bad things about women. He said bad things about Armenians. He said all kind of things that you would expect a right wing shill to say, and he's admitted them. And he's admitted the fact that he was stupid and wrong for saying them. Right. And the thing that I hate about where we're at now in this quote unquote cancer culture is that it's like, it's so absolute. If you've ever said anything bad, I'm going to find it. And then you have to go die and you can never work again. It's basically what this is. Right. And so even a guy who's clearly changed his ideology and backed it up by doing real things, putting his money into those groups. Like, did nobody give him funding to start Justice Democrats? Did nobody give him funding to start TYT? Right. So it's like, there's saying you've changed and just paying lip service, and then there's actually proving it with your actions, right? So he's running for the 25th district in California against a candidate who's a mainstay of the Democratic Party, who has strong ties to Nancy Pelosi and other, formidable Democrats. The NYT, the New York Times, wrote up an article about Cenk Uygur that was basically just a shit piece, right? It was just basically to deter people or to try to form an opinion of people who didn't already know Cenk, try to give them something to form a negative opinion on him on. One of the excerpts in the article read, he interviewed figures, including David Duke. David Duke is the Grand Wizard, or the former Grand Wizard of the KKK. In one clip that circulated on Twitter, they quoted Twitter as a source. In one clip that circulated on Twitter, Mr. Duke ends an interview by saying, "I am not what you would call a racist," in which Mr. Uygur replies, "No, of course not." And so, again, if you don't know who he is, if you don't know what he stands for or what he's ever done, you would read that and think, well, yeah, he's a racist apologist. He's a he's a fan of David Duke or whatever. But whatever you would think, it wouldn't necessarily be positive hearing that excerpt alone.
Right.
Now, I'm going to play the video of the interview that they're talking about. And you tell me whether or not this is someone trying to placate to a racist.
Going to favor his own fellow Jewish bankers and giving out that money, like Goldman Sachs, these other bankers.
No, but David, you misunderstand the problem entirely. That's why you've spent a life headed in the wrong direction.
Oh, so, yeah. Right.
Now, look. So the Federal Reserve has tremendous issues. By the way, there was 2 co-sponsors of the bill to audit the Fed. One was Ron Paul on the Republican side. The other one was the guy who actually started the whole process, Alan Grayson, who's a Democrat, who also happens to be Jewish. So why does this Jewish conspiracy want to undermine itself?
The biggest predator bank on earth is Goldman Sachs.
No, but you know who was the head of Goldman Sachs, who then led the entire bailout of what you say is Jewish bankers?
Yeah, I know who was head of it, Blankfein and
No. Blankfein was the head of it afterwards. Hank Paulson. Hank Paulson is Christian.
And so at the end of that, to wrap up the interview, David Duke gets into his "I'm not what you would call a racist" bag. And Cenk Uygur sarcastically says, "Oh, yeah, of course not."
Sure, you're not.
But if you were reading the New York Times article, you would think that like he was agreeing with David Duke. And that is clearly what they're trying to say in that article. Right? So one or two things are happening here. You are either willfully ignorant and you took Twitter as a reputable source, or you intentionally skewed that situation to make him look like that.
You couldn't find a good enough source.
Or you couldn't find a good enough source to smear him, so you had to stir some shit up. Right? And so, and that's not even, I don't even think that's the only time that they've tried to take his quotes out of context or anything like that. They wrote this shitty ass apology on Twitter maybe about an hour ago. Correction. An earlier version of this article referred imprecisely to a remark by Cenk Uygur, a radio host, doesn't have a radio show, running for Congress. A radio host running for Congress. Do you think they would classify Amy Klobuchar as an ex-girlfriend running for president? Like, goddamn. Bro, Klobuchar keep catching these L's, bro.
As she should.
That's going to be a thing. Let's see how long we can keep this going.
Okay.
For sure.
Gladly.
David Duke appeared on his show and denied being a racist. Mr. Uygur was sarcastic when he replied, "No, of course not." So, roughly 2 days after the article comes out, it's not a full retraction, right? It's just oh, hey, by the way, he was being sarcastic. And how many people do you think saw this retraction versus the amount of people that read the article initially?
Not a lot.
So the damage is already done.
Yes. Quite a bit so.
It's kind of foul, man. And if you kind of look at the reason why this happens, Cenk Uygur is the leftist you could ever find. Mm-hmm. He is the most far left Democrat probably in the country. Well, maybe not in the country, but he is one of the more extreme liberals out there.
Right. And
so if you're going up against these people who are taking major money from corporate America and they're beholden to the higher echelon of Democratic status like Nancy Pelosi and all of them, then yeah, they're going to use their contacts. They're going to use their resources to try to stomp you out. They don't want to get into a policy debate because, again, how do you argue against universal health care in a state like California where so many don't have it? Mm-hmm. Right? How do you argue against a living wage of $15 an hour when, you know, there are so many homeless people in California? There are so many low wage paying jobs, not just in California, but in the country. True. You know what I mean? It's hard to argue policy against giving people more. Mm-hmm. So they smear you and they throw dirt on your name. Mm. And so I think that's trash. I think it's trash that New York Times involved themselves in that. And yeah, man, I'll put them right up there with WAPO and CNN. I'm just not ever going to trust anything that comes out of those sources anymore. And you know what's fucked up about that? Wow. Is because when people like Trump get up there and say, "Oh, it's the fake news media. They're lying to you." It's literally the only reason why he has a defense in this impeachment trial. It's because of shit like this. It's because you give credence to that argument that the press is the enemy of the people, writing smear campaigns against populist candidates, against people who are trying to give the people what they want.
Yeah.
And then you smear them. You're so beholden to your money. You bastardize your profession and you weaponize it to go against people that you feel like are going to affect your bottom line. That is why you're open to attacks from right-wing hacks calling you the enemy of the people, because you regularly lie and skew information to fit a narrative that you want to push. That's kind of how it is.
That's fucked up.
Yep. That's all I got today, though.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. First dub that I want to give out is to us.
Okay.
Last week we released our episode. If you still haven't heard it, go give it a listen. It is still doing numbers. The last I checked, we are at 173 listens.
That's big for us, yo. I know that ain't shit to some of these other YouTubers.
It don't sound like a lot, but
that's big to us.
Grinding from maybe 20 listens an episode.
20. The first one got 8.
I was gonna say it's less than that for a lot of.
I was
these
gonna say 20. The first one was at 8.
So I mean, to make a huge jump, it was specifically on SoundCloud.
Appreciate that.
I
for
do
sure.
want to say that we appreciate everybody who listens on SoundCloud, YouTube, and we're getting some numbers on Facebook. 20 followers on Facebook.
Hey, look at there.
But we're making some headway, so I do want to say first of all that I want to that we appreciate everything
for sure
from everybody.
Appreciate it.
So big dub to us, big dub to all the listeners out there. My second and last dub goes to when you lived in Akron.
Mm-hmm.
But how many times have you gone to Sheetz?
Oof. 3, maybe 4. Anytime I was in Stowe or Kent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many of our Columbus listeners know what Sheetz is, but coming from the Northeast Ohio, Sheetz is amazing.
It's
as a gas station.
The best gas station food you will ever find in America.
Sheetz, at a very early time, before pretty much anybody had it. Now I see these things in Get Go. I see these things in a couple of other. I want to say maybe Circle K or somebody else has the made to order touchscreens. But before anybody else had any of that, Sheetz was the place to go
for sure
to get made to order food that was actually really good. It was just awesome. It was awesome customer service, and they are actually making their way to Columbus. So.
Oh, I'm there. Just like how everybody was lined up for the Swenson's when it opened up over there in Polaris. I
still haven't been there, and I want to go. I want to go there too.
It's Swenson's, dog. No, yeah, you're not missing.
But I still need to have a galley boy.
Do you though?
Kinda.
Do you really need a fake Big Mac with an olive plugged into the top of it?
The sauce is good though.
If you like Swenson's, you just hated all of that. But that's all it is to me.
Swenson's is kind of fire though.
It's kind of okay.
It's kind of fire.
It's kind of average.
Ooh, okay. All right. So, but anyway, shouts out to Sheetz for making their way to Columbus. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but they've announced it, so we should see that probably sometime in the next year or so.
Oh, I'm geeked about the Sheetz.
Yeah, definitely want to make my way out there.
Geeked about the Sheetz.
On to my L's. I got a couple of them. These are probably going to take a while. So let me just start off with the biggest L. Ooh, no pun intended. Lizzo sitting courtside at the Laker game. What do we feel about it?
Okay. So Lizzo twerking with her ass out during the Laker game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I feel like this is? I feel like this was the line where everybody would look at a Cardi B and look how outlandish she is, or look at a Meg Thee Stallion or whoever, and they kind of let them ride as far as like being ass out. You know what I mean? Doing whatever, showing whatever in public. I feel like this was the final straw that stroked the delicate sensibilities of suburban white mothers, because it wasn't what she did, is where she did it at.
True.
She did it during the Laker game, courtside,
family event.
At a quote unquote family event.
Kids.
And now that she went a little too far for everybody. Everybody love it when they doing it on the award shows or Jimmy Kimmel or SNL or wherever they at.
Yeah.
Right? But, not when my children are watching. As if they not watching the shit anyways. As if it's not happening anyways.
Right.
So I just think it wasn't that big a deal to me. Just wrong crowd.
Yeah, I can see
wrong
that.
crowd. My question is, so it just wasn't no back to them pants at all. So you was just ass out all night.
Was it even pants? I feel like she just wore a huge black t-shirt and just cut the ass.
I don't know, but my thing is like if that was just there, because I ain't see her pull nothing down or pull nothing out. So if that was just there, somebody seen that shit before she started twerking on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Why you ain't blow up?
I think she walked through a tunnel and was like doing some twerking shit back there too.
Oh, I didn't see it. I just seen the shit that was on the court.
Maybe before the game or before she got to her seat. Mm-hmm. I think is what I heard. I didn't see all of it.
Okay.
I don't think I could bear to watch the entire thing. But from what I heard, she was in the tunnel coming out to her seat. Or in some tunnel coming out to her seat, and she was twerking out there, and then whatever halftime or whatever she was twerking out, So she was kind of doing the most. She was kind of seeking attention, and she got it.
Yeah.
My thing is, it's a public game. You gonna sit your naked ass on the seat at a public game where somebody's gonna have to sit there?
I hope they watch that shit.
Like
that's whole open ass cheek on the seat all night. That's a $50,000 seat.
I'm kind of concerned for the next person who sits there.
Which,
you know what I mean? I don't know
if I pay $50,000 for a seat, I could sit butt ass naked on it if I want to too. I could take the motherfucker home if I want it.
True.
But at the same time, if you're gonna leave it there, they need to get some spray.
I don't know if Jack Nicholson is gonna accept sitting in his, you know what I'm saying, in Lizzo sweat. That's all I'm saying.
No. That's funny.
Did you see the Rockets tweet that they want her to come to their game, whatever their next game is? You don't give a fuck?
No, I don't.
Maybe she can wipe off some of that Laker magic.
To play or to...
Oh, you think
she's going to
go out there and play?
To get James to pass the ball?
Well, she is a thick bitch and she needs tempo. So maybe she needs to roll with the Rockets.
Can you say that?
That's the song.
I don't think you can say that,
That's
bro.
the song, bro.
Bro, say thick
bitch.
No,
she
take
needs
that
tempo.
Back.
Fuck it up to the tempo.
Take
That's
it back.
The song, bro.
Take it back.
I'm singing lyrics.
You gonna get us canceled? You
it's
can't
just
call
like
her
white
a
people.
bitch.
It's just like white people singing nigga during the song.
Okay, that's totally unacceptable as well. That was a horrible.
I really just wanted to see what your reaction to that would be. Another L. So we talked a little bit about Chase Young earlier.
Okay.
He said something at one of the Heisman events, or I think TMZ actually picked it up, or something crazy. He talked about possibly returning. And so I want to give that an L, and I'll tell you why. As a Buckeye fan, I should be excited that, hey, maybe Chase Young wants to come back to the Buckeyes. I'm also a proponent of, dude, get your money. Go to the NFL as soon as you can. Black man, get your money.
I'm rich, biatch.
That's not happening. He's not coming back.
I don't believe that he will actually come back, but like, dog, if you said that, or you know what I mean, like, dog, no, I don't want to hear that. Like, you're already going to be probably a number 1 pick, probably number 2 pick. Dog, get your money. Stop playing. I don't want to hear that. Yeah. I want you to go and get your money as fast as you can, and don't look back.
As a defensive end, you can be a great player, but these type of years don't come all the time.
Yeah.
So like, you come out and have this type of year you had, like just shy of 20 sacks or something like that. Mm-hmm. You had that type of year, come back and follow it up with a 10-sack season. Normally that's good.
It's not going to look as good.
They're going to look at that as a decline in productivity,
right?
Which is a reason to pay you less money.
There's little to no good upside
to coming back at all.
So go.
You're in the playoff now. You got a chance to play for a national championship.
Go.
What are you coming back for?
Go.
What are you coming back for?
I don't want to hear, like, just go. I don't say that too often as far as players who play for my team.
Right.
You know, I obviously want LeBron to come back to the Cavs.
That's not happening either. Well, you know what? Giannis is a free agent in 2021. So if y'all want him back, we might be able to work something out.
I say that to say, I don't usually say that to players who play on my team, but dog, as a Buckeye fan, go to the NFL. You know, I want to see you get your money more than I want to see you come back.
That's nonsense. I don't know who picked that up or who reported it. Or
I can't remember. I want to say somebody said it was TMZ, and I think he might have said that, but then he took it back and tried to say like, "Oh, I was caught off guard" or something.
Fucking ops, man.
Yeah,
he was probably joking or some shit.
Maybe, but yeah, dog, go get your money. Yeah. I don't want to hear none of that. Another L goes out to the people who got a chance to get the Bred 11s. Bred Jordan 11s.
Boy, I ain't stopped hearing about them joints all weekend.
I'm sure you haven't. So, the past few years, I've gotten the 72 and 10 11s when they dropped on a holiday. I got the Concord 11s when they dropped on a holiday. I got the Space Jam 11s when they dropped on a holiday. I think there was one that I missed, and within that 4 years. Mm-hmm. This year I did not get the Bred 11s, and I'll tell you the one reason I did not get the Bred 11s. I caught the Concords last year. Guess what everybody did when they got their Concords? They wore them that weekend and they kept wearing their shits. I'm done with seeing people cop Jordans and wearing them as soon as they get them. Cause then like I just feel like I can't wear my shits. And so it's been a year now. I got my Concords, and I've worn them once.
That's the most bass-ackwards thing.
Bro, I just feel like I can't wear my shit.
You gonna go buy a shoe that you know everybody and their mama about to buy, and then get mad when you see they got them on?
Yes. Like, dog, like, bro, I bought my shits because I like them.
Nigga.
It's a lot of people out here.
Why not buy the less expensive shoe that everybody ain't wearing?
I do that a lot. I have a lot of pairs of shoes that I bought because I like them, and there's no hype around them.
So what is the point of
buying
Jordans?
I like the Concords, and I want to be able to wear them, but niggas is just going to keep wearing them out.
If your point is to not wear shoes that other niggas is wearing, then Jordans ain't it, bro. It'll never be it.
It can be sometimes.
No.
It can
never.
Because there's a lot of Jordans that don't sell out, that don't really do anything.
Some Team J's?
No.
It ain't no retros that don't sell out.
Yes, there are.
Like what?
Now? Yeah, there are. There are a lot of them. That's why they are at the Nike outlet now. You'll see a lot of them that just go to the outlet.
Take me a trip.
You should.
Just like, nah.
Because there are a lot of Jordans there that don't get sold out. Nah. But 11s around the holiday time, those shits get sold out quickly.
I feel like first of all, Jordans are the official footwear of fuckboys.
Damn.
I'm gonna just put that out there.
Damn, you just came from my life there.
This is why we need a female host on here, because I feel like she would confirm that.
But okay,
I feel like most fuck niggas that she would ever run into would have some J's on their feet.
But my closet is not only Jordans.
It's also the national shoe of niggas who sleep on the floor.
I definitely don't sleep on the floor.
You don't.
I definitely do not. I understand why you would say that, because they were spending their money on the Jordans.
I know plenty of niggas who asked me for lunch money, but got them Bred 11s on their feet.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
It's a different feeling when you can afford
can I get a ride in my J's, ass nigga?
Yeah, that's a little much. If you embody that type of person who buys Jordans, I don't know.
I'm not throwing everybody who wears J's under the bus, because I got niggas that's well off. They just like to wear sneakers. They like shoes. I spend their last dime on a pair of shoes.
I buy Jordans because when they were coming out of high school, niggas was wearing them a lot. I didn't have that money to be buying them out here. And my dad wasn't buying them for me. My parents just wasn't buying them for me, because they had the sense to be like, I'm not buying, fucking $100, $150
for somebody to come and try to take them off your feet or some shit.
I'm not doing that fuck shit. So when I got my own money, I'm like, all right, yeah, I kind of want to have some nice shoes on my feet.
Yeah.
That's where that kind of came from.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there are a lot of niggas who are like what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. And there's a lot of them who are going to have those Bred 11s on their feet. So for that, they're getting that
spend the Similac money on the Bred 11s, ass nigga.
I don't know if I ever showed you the picture that I saw or that I took at the Kevin Hart concert that I went with Alex and Keela.
Mm-hmm.
There was 3 white dudes standing in the line in front of us. All 3 of them had on the same exact pair of Jordans.
But that's where you at.
I was like, dog, y'all gotta stop. Same pair of Jordan 11s.
J's just like Yeezys, just like Tim's to a certain degree. Tim's less now. I feel like Tim's is a little played. Other than in New York, they gonna hold on to that boot forever.
Yeah.
But shoes like that are like signal. They're like status signifiers.
Sure.
You know what I mean? To a certain degree, like you buy them not so much for the comfort of the shoe or the performance of the shoe, or sometimes not even for the look. It's because it's the newest. It's about to drop. Everybody going to get it. But then I hear so many niggas mad that they see everybody with them on. It's like you sat in line for an hour to get these shoes.
Let me be clear.
I know niggas be getting the raffles. They got your hooks and stuff like that.
I never had to do any of that. I get them on the app.
A lot of y'all,
if I don't get them on the app, I let it go.
A lot of y'all stand in these lines for hours. You showing up for raffles and shit like that. And then you be so surprised that all them niggas that was just standing in line with you got them on when you leave. Did you think they was all collectors? You was going to put them up in a showcase or something?
That's fair. That's a fair point.
You buy them to show them.
You know what niggas piss me off the most, though? And I'll leave it at this. The niggas who either A, pay $400 for the shoes after they sold out everywhere. And the niggas who, I don't know if you've ever seen like StockX or like some of these.
Oh, they try to resell them?
No, but they'll buy them on these sites and they'll do the payment plans for them. Dog, you can't afford the shoe.
There's a payment plan for shoes?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
universal.
You'll see it. You'll see it underneath the price. It's like you can pay this, or you can pay 4 easy payments of this.
That's why it's the official shoe of fuckboys, bro.
Dog, if you're leasing
shoes,
the drip, like you can't afford it. All right, you don't need to have the drip. If
that's not even jewelry, dog. That's shoes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine somebody coming repoing your feet? No. Hey, dog, you late on your bills. Let me get them. Foot Locker, whole checker shirt, walking up to you, take the shoes off your feet.
You can't put the drip on a payment plan. That's ridiculous. That's too much.
Nah. That's way too much.
You can't afford it.
I didn't even know that exists.
It does. It's ridiculous. Now,
niggas
won't admit to it, but somebody's doing it.
Yeah,
somebody has to be doing it if it's an option.
I'm going to go check and see if they go by income or what.
I don't know, man. Last L I got before I got to get into these toss-ups real quick, and then we're out of here. I don't know if you've seen the news story about the man in North Carolina. I think he might be a rapper. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a rapper out of all this. Who took $88,000. He worked at Wells Fargo, and he took $88,000 from the vault.
Oh yeah.
He was
he got caught flexing with the money phone on Facebook. Yeah, I remember that. I
do not understand how you work for a bank. You work in a bank, you see money all the time, and you get excited by money in that way. Like, it's not your money, first of all, so you don't have no real ties to that money. Doing the money phone and shit, that goes along with the people who are putting the drip on a payment plan.
Yeah.
That's the same nigga.
Yep.
It's the same shit. Wearing shirts.
That's also the official fuckboy photo pose, selfie pose.
It is.
Official fuckboy selfie pose is the money phone.
You can't work at a bank and act as if you've never seen money in your life like that before.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. You can't work at a bank and then wear shirts that say, ain't with being broke. But he had these shirts made, dog, on your Instagram.
You know what's funny about that? So, like, he facing federal charges now, right?
Yes.
He got a federal public defender.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Kevin Curtis, and I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
You ain't with being broke, but you got a public defender. Yeah,
that was crazy. When I heard that, I laughed my ass off.
You know what? This is what I don't understand about people who rob banks or scammers and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all do this shit and then stay where y'all at.
Yeah.
If I hit somebody for 88 bands, bro, I'm in Mexico or somewhere where that 88 bands is going to stretch a lot further than it would here in America.
Yeah, 88 bands is not long.
They going to come looking for me eventually.
Of course.
I'm not no mastermind. I'm not Dr. Evil. I can't get away with this shit.
Because they have everything on you. They have your social, your date of birth, all that information.
No, you walked into a bank vault and took the bills out. Like, it wasn't no intricate plan. No. This wasn't no inside man. This wasn't den of thieves. Dog, you walked into the vault and took the bills out.
So apparently he's been like taking little by little. So it wasn't 88 right away. And so he's been having people like falsify records unbeknownst to them. So they weren't with him doing it. But it's just like, dog.
You got to get on the run
for $88,000.
It's Wells Fargo's all over the country. You could have been taking out money while you on your way to your destination.
I don't understand why $88,000 was worth losing your job and then your freedom over.
Well, niggas do dumb shit all the time.
$88,000 is not that much.
Do dumb shit in a coordinated way. You just out here winging it. Like, I guess I'll still.
And then posting it to social media.
Yeah, yep, putting it on social media.
Like, dog. I know. I'm not even gonna ask the question. I know $88,000 was not worth your freedom.
No,
I know $88,000 was not worth any of the shit that you did. But the minute that
he took he had the idea to start running these checks off of these people's accounts, he had already decided that whatever he was doing was worth it. Mm-hmm. So if you taking that attitude, all I'm saying is maybe do it in a way that don't lead you going to prison.
Yeah.
Everything you was doing let me know that you wanted to end up in prison.
Right.
So hey man, we got a bunch of genius criminals out here nowadays.
That shit is crazy, dog. That shit blew me. Mm-hmm. With that being said, that's all I got.
So we out?
I think we out.
Peace.